To learn productively and effectively, and to teach productively and effectively, which is really a constant state of learning, isn't it? You really need to be a member of this club, of the Club of Dreamers. Now, there's a man over here with the beard. I travel right across the country, and I do school visits with kids. And I'll ask them who some of the people are in the Club of Dreamers and see how many of the faces they can recognize. And sometimes when I ask who the man with the beard is, the answer I get, Santa Claus. No. I say, does the name Leonardo Da Vinci ring a bell? Leonardo da Vinci has been called a beautiful dreamer. You know, Italian painter, scientist, inventor, philosopher. If you look at his notebooks, you see this unquenchable thirst for learning. He wanted to gather knowledge about everything, to all the details of the world. He really had an appreciation of the joy of learning. And one of his quotes is, "The knowledge of all things is possible. Obstacles cannot crush me. Every obstacle yields to stern resolve. He who is fixed to a star does not change his mind. Obstacles cannot crush me." Now, I have a question for you. I want an honest answer, okay? I would like to know how many of you have had days like this? Maybe more than one day? This is from the Gray Pages in Dream, done by Raoul Cologne. And the text on this page reads, "Sometimes there's just too much, too big, too long, too hard. And all you want to do is hide your head under the covers of your bed." Now, my guess is that most of you went into teaching with these wonderful ideals. And then the reality sets in. And I know that it can be tough to be a teacher. I travel across the country, I talk to teachers, I know that you have so many demands coming at you from so many different directions. But you have to hold on to that part of yourself that's a dreamer and bring it into the classroom as often as you can. Research shows the single most important factor that affects how well students learn in the classroom is the teacher. Not that I'm trying to put any more pressure on you. I'm just reporting the research. And you know from personal experience, right? On days when you're feeling really good, when you've had enough prep time, the students are coming along with you, everything's falling into place, everything's working. On days maybe when you're tired, when something at home is bothering you, nothing is working. The kids just aren't getting it. So it's so important for you to hold on to that part of yourself that's a dreamer and bring it into the classroom, and to help your students discover that part of themselves that's a dreamer and bring that part of themselves to the classroom. That's part of what education should be about, shouldn't it? To help kids figure out who they are and what they want to do with the whole life ahead of them. Because if the gray starts to overwhelm them, they start to struggle, they start to get frustrated, they're in danger of dropping out. There was a recent Michigan Education Association study that looked at how to reduce the dropout rate. And one conclusion that they had was, they said, this study confirms what educators and parents already know. Don't most studies just confirm common sense? I mean, haven't you noticed this? Too many young adults are rudderless and don't know what to do in the future. They're going through life without direction. And when they lack clear goals and focus, they're more likely to struggle. We're more likely to lose them. We don't want that to happen. Now, Doug Manning is an educator who's worked with students for over 30 years, and he works helping students make the transition from high school to life beyond. And he's written a very interesting white paper sort of summarizing a lot of the research that's been done on how do we reduce the dropout rate, how do we keep kids motivated and engaged. And he starts by pointing out, again, something that makes a lot of sense. High school graduates live longer. They're healthier, they're more likely to be employed, are paid better, and have a better quality of life than those who do not complete high school. Communities with high graduation rates are financially stronger, socially stronger, and have less crime than those with lower graduation rates. Now, the greatest and quickest gains in graduation rate improvement will come from initiatives focused on engaging the internal motivations of students. A sense of purpose develops for an individual when something they are connects with something they could be, with their dream, their goal, what they see for their future. Every student must have a clearly defined and meaningful future plan. That plan must be an extension of the person the student wants to become. Then he says, everything an individual chooses to do is an act of significance or consequence. That harkens back to the whole idea of legacy, right? At the end of each of our lives, each of us wants to look back knowing our existence had meaning to someone or something. These choices are usually made with future possibilities in mind. They are the essence of hope and inspiration. Hope and inspiration. Kids can lose hope, sometimes starting as early as grade 4. And sometimes we lose hope in kids. And that's a dangerous thing when we start to lose hope in kids. There's another member of the Club of Dreamers over here. Again, when I travel across the country, and I do work with even the littlest one, with kindergarten kids, the face that all kids recognize, even the kindergarten kids, is this one right here, Albert Einstein. He's such an iconic figure that everyone recognizes him. Albert Einstein, of course, won the Nobel Prize in physics. Brilliant man. But when he was in school, he was very shy. He did not do well in the early grades, and the teachers used to say, oh, gee, you know, I'm really worried about Albert. I don't know what's going to happen to Albert when he gets older. Well, Albert turned out just fine. It's a good thing that, you know, someone had hope in him, and he kept going. One of the quotes from Einstein that I really like is he says, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. Hope for tomorrow. One of the other illustrations in Dream is by Robert Ingpen from Australia. Robert Ingpen has won the top illustration award, the Hans Christian Andersen medal in the world. And the whole theme of this illustration is hope, overcoming fear. The definition of hope that I like is from Václav Havel. And he says, hope is an orientation of the spirit. It's not the conviction that everything will turn out all right. It's the conviction that something is right. And so you stand up for it, you work for it, you fight for it.